So here's the thing, I'm sure we all know that Intel's 12th gen is like a hot fella. In fact, I said it myself. In terms of temperatures, it is a hot fella. How bad is it really? Now, I've got a bunch of air coolers over here, ranging from all the way from like $25 to actually quite a decent AIO over here. This is 240 millimeter. So I want to know if the 12900K i9 can be air cooled. And how bad is the heating situation? Let's find out.
Are you sick of seeing activate Windows message on your desktop? Well, it's time to activate your Windows and do it cheap. Go on to whokeys.com where you can find official license keys. If you're looking for Windows 10 Pro key, for example, then all you have to do is search for Windows 10 Pro, select the license and add it to the basket. Use the code TN20 to get a 20% discount. Once you have the license key on your email, click here, type in your license key, hit activate, and you're all done. Check out whokeys.com in the description below and don't forget to use the code TN20 to get a 20% discount.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to run Cinebench R23, 10-minute test. In here you can also see the room temperature and the humidity, so we'll know like how this reacts. And then in here we have the temperatures. We are idling about 28 degrees on this $24 cooler. Let's press start and let's see what happens. Okay. 50, 70, 81, 83, 86, 88, 231 watts pulled from the socket, 90 degrees, 88, 90 degrees instantly, 93, this is an open test bench as well, 94, 96, will it be able to actually complete one, 90 degrees, 100 degrees, okay, we completed first tests, 100 degrees again. Wow, that's seriously hot. The clock speeds are going down massively. It's 4.8 and 4.7 sometimes on the performance cores. It's throttling itself down because we're hitting 100 degrees in quite a few cores over here. Okay, this 25 cooler clearly isn't enough even though rated at 130 watts TDP, which means nothing. Next off, what I want to try is this Arctic Freezer 34 eSports Duo. So this is quite a good cooler, you know, they reckon. So I want to know if this is able to cool this. So let's change the coolers and then find this out then. Okay, are we ready for this? This is the Arctic Freezer 34 eSports Duo. Okay, 224 watts being pulled from the socket. Okay, it's run about a minute and 10 seconds, and we are 88 degrees or something like that. Looks like this one can actually keep the temperatures, but it's still running at like 86, 88 degrees, and it's blowing. It's very warm, let's just say that. Okay, looks like it's doing quite a good job, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the back fan off and let's see if that's gonna make a difference. So it looked like with two fans it was doing quite a good job, you know, cooling it down. We hit about 92 degrees max. Now straight away we've hit 93. Let's have a look if it can keep up with this as well. So it looks like the dual fan configuration of this Freezer 34 Duo works really well. It's interesting, it's running at 93, 94 and it's still not throttling the system. It's still 4.9 gigahertz on the performance cores and 3.7 gigahertz on the efficiency cores. Yeah, about 4 or 5 degrees warmer without the back fan on. So this Arctic Freezer 34 seriously impressed me. I am actually able to keep it cool without throttling. Now the fans are like 100% all the time when it's hitting that load, but with one fan we were hitting about 97 degrees. Bear in mind this is open air Testbench, and with two fans we were hitting about 92. So to be honest, I'm impressed considering that this is a very budget cooler. You're actually able to cool this down. Now let's move on to NOCTUA NHU14S and let's see how well does this do.
After a long night, it's some free time. Could you see me like that? Do you see me like
okay, the NOCTUA NHU14S has been installed finally. Looks like this one is idling the lowest at about 29 degrees. So let's see what happens when you put 10 minutes Cinebench on. Let's go. Okay, about 81. Wow, I mean, look at that. 80 degrees. Okay, let's let it warm up and then come back to it in a moment. But at the moment, obviously it's about a degree or so warmer in the room here. And it's about 83. We hit maximum 83. So let's see how it goes. So we're about halfway through, 5 minutes left, and we have hit just the 90 degrees, which is pretty good actually. We're pulling about 230 watts from the socket, and this is actually able to cool it down. Now you can get this with double the fans as well, but put another dual fan in the back, then it could be even better. To be honest, I'm very impressed with this. Let's see in the end of the 10 minutes, see what the temperatures are like over there, but I'm quite impressed with this at the moment. Okay, so there's 1 minute left now, so let's make a little bit of a conclusion. We have hit maximum peak temperature of 90 degrees with this NOCTUA NHU14S. We've pulled about 233 watts maximum from the socket. I know it's toasty, we're hovering about 88 degrees over there, 87, and it's 20.8 degrees Celsius in this room at the moment. But looking at the clock speeds, we are not throttling. 4.9 all core boost on the performance cores and 3.7 on the efficiency cores, which is very good. I know it runs toasty, but this little fella can actually cool it down and you know, do a decent job, because not all the time will you be rendering like 100% utilization of the CPU, but when you're doing, for example, video renders, long cinema 4D renders overnight, something like that, you could leave it on. Bear in mind, this is open air test bench. Inside your PC, it would be much warmer, and whatever your ambient temperature is, if it's warmer, then it will be obviously warmer. Next off, let's try this downdraft cooler, Dark Rock TF2 cooler, potentially 230 watts TDP cooler. So let's change that out and try this one. So let's press a start on this 10-minute test, and then let's see what happens. Okay, 82. We'll see how it goes. Okay, we're about a minute and 20 in, and we're already 96 degrees. Okay, I don't think this is gonna go so well with this downdraft cooler. 99 degrees. I think this is gonna go to 100 degrees. That's not looking good. And we've hit 100 degrees. That's quite bad. It's interesting when it starts to like throttle, it actually pushes more power through as well. As you can see here now, when we're about 99 degrees to keep the performance, it's funny, it actually pushes 240, 241 watts through. So if the cooling is better and you can keep the temperatures lower, it actually pushes less power through as well, which is interesting. So the better cooling you have, the cooler it will run, because it also pushes less power through, which is interesting. So not looking so good. Look how many cores have been 100 degrees. This cooler is no good for this 12900K. Ooh, it's red hot. So this has done now. This is no good, basically. We've hit 100 degrees in most of the cores. It's absolutely insane. So no good for this. Let's take it off and then put the AIO on. So our AIO is installed, and I was gonna do NHD15, this big NOCTUA cooler as well, but I've got both of them mounted in systems that I need to use in a moment. But we know that the NHU14S handles it. We know that then the NHD15 will handle this as well. But now what I'm curious is, this is 240mm AIO, BeQuiet, pure loop 240mm, and let's have a look how well does this one do. Now it's not like a high-end AIO, so it will be interesting to know how well does it do. Bear in mind it's 22 degrees Celsius in this room now. It's raised a little bit, so whoa, okay, that's loud. Okay, so it finished the 10-minute and I started it again just to like show you some of the temps because this camera wasn't recording. Basically, this 240mm AIO is able to keep up with you know, this CPU, but the thing is, it runs very hot and very loud. Not sure if you can hear this, but those fans and the pumps, they're like very loud. They make a lot of noise, which means it's just about able to keep up with, you know, what's going on over here. We have 22.4 degrees Celsius in the room, and our temps at the moment are hovering like high 80s over there. We're pulling 225 watts over there, but we'll see. In a few minutes, it's gonna push it even more, and we're gonna reach like almost 90 degrees, which isn't like very nice. It's very toasty, it runs very toasty. So if you want to cool this bad boy down, be ready to go at least 360mm AIO if you want to do that. But the question is, can you air cool the 12900K? And to my surprise, it actually is possible, and the numbers aren't as bad as you might think. So I was super impressed with the Freezer 34 from Arctic, because I didn't think this is gonna keep up with it at all, because you know, it's pretty budget cooler. It costs like what, $35 or something like that. To be able to cool this and keep up with it, it was quite amazing actually. And it wasn't that loud as this over here. This AIO is much louder than this bad boy. That was very impressive. Now, would I get this to cool this 12900K? No, I wouldn't. Would I get this NHU14S to cool this one down? Maybe. Now this one was quite impressive as well, and I didn't think this was gonna cool it down as well because it was a single tower cooler, but it did a very good job. Pretty much the same as this 240mm AIO, but much quieter. And you could get a second fan on the back of it, which would improve the performance even further, you know, pulling it down a few degrees, which would be even better. So if you want to air cool this 12900K, then be ready to spend the premium on your air coolers. Like 2 towers or very high-end single towers, anything less than $80 or so, do not go for them, because it's just not able to do it, or it's just very loud and it just doesn't make any sense. So NOCTUA NHD15, that was over here that we didn't actually test, but we know that would perform better than the NHU14S. Then Dark Rock Pros, the Dark Rock Pro 4, go for that one. Anything less than that, don't waste your time. Another interesting analysis that we found out was that if your cooling is not able to keep up with the processor, it actually pushes more power through to keep up the performance in that same level, to perform the same, which makes your cooler to run even hotter. Everything goes hotter, and it just like goes louder and hotter, and you know, starts to throttle. So the better cooler you have, the quieter it is, the less power it actually pushes through. It's more efficient as well that way. So that's interesting. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you to know if you are able to air cool your 12900K. Let me stop this because this is absolutely insane here at the moment. Likes if you enjoyed this video, subs if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you next time. Thanks guys for watching. Bye bye.